Child interview number 2 has raised more questions than interview number 1 and Michael's. Child, let's get into this. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. Everybody needs a sweet old home tea. Thank you, subscribers, and my users and reviews. All in all, who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for our tea advice. Sweet old. It's time for our tea advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for our tea advice. Sweet old. Our tea advice. You keep on working, making that money, Rhonda. Hi, everybody. Okay, you're welcome, Miss Davis. Okay, good for you, sweetie. Hopefully, I'll talk long enough for y'all, okay? Chill. Welcome, sweetie. Hey, Sugar. Hey, Carla. Oh, my God. Let's go ahead on and get into interview number 2. I had to gather myself. Because it's one thing listening to it. It's another thing listening to it and have to repeat the stuff back. Okay, y'all. So this is part 2 of Mary's interview with Carly. Now, this is her channel is Kiki and Kibitz. And this wasn't fun. As I stated in my first video, I like the fact that Mary can sit back and listen to it and not veer off, come up with, different objections, just getting the information. Kudos to Mary. Because, girl, I ain't got it to do. So let's go ahead on and get into this second part of the interview. Again, I have put it in notes. I've created my notes because you got to with all this stuff that's being said. I don't even know if I'm trying to get myself up to get ready. Okay. So we on part 2. We have already discussed quite a bit of things, right? We talked about the first marriage. We talked about the second marriage, the third marriage, Kaylee's relationship with Mike, the biggest misconceptions that we have about her, according to Kaylee, the emotional support, production, and her husband's statements regarding productions, her OnlyFans, fear, medical issues, student debt,
the difference between love during lockup and love after lockup and all of that jazz. And now this is a continuation of it. I guess the file was big, and so it had to be broken down into multiple parts. And so right now, we again, Mary is doing her second interview with Carly, and this is children's reactions to the relationship. So Kaylee stated that Mike never actually lived with her and her children. Now, mind you, she's married to him. This is her husband. So this is what, in my opinion, the kids are seeing as a marriage. Because she didn't had a whole bunch of them, and here, yeah, comes another one. According to her, he only visited the home for brief periods to make macaroni and cheese, and I guess to film with production. She said he only visited her for brief periods, including a couple of little small visits, one overnight pass after his release from the prison. She even mentioned that her oldest daughter immediately opposed to the relationship between her and Michael, right? And believed that it was a bad idea from the giddy up, from the go, from the begin. And then she went on to say that all her children were uncomfortable around Mike, and that some of the viewers noted that they could even observe her children's discomfort during the television show through their hesitant interactions with them. I ain't see that. I just saw a bunch of macaroni and cheese, 2 pans of macaroni and cheese. I saw the mother's interactions, but I really did not pay much attention to the kids' interactions. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section if y'all saw it, right? And she said that, her kids never supported the relationship. They repeatedly told her and expressed their concerns about Mike, and they told her they didn't want him around. And she said that her oldest daughter father questioned whether she truly wanted Mike involved in their lives and asked whether she believed he had actually changed. And so Kaylee did acknowledge that she assured everyone that Mike had changed, but now she believes she should have listened to the concerns expressed by both her children and her former husband. And that's just such a coincidence, because when her mother sat there and tried to give her some wisdom, she didn't want to listen to her mother. She said that her mother did not, um, the mother lost the privilege of parenting her. So if you're not listening to your kids and you're pushing your kids off to the side, then what you think that is going to be the outcome of that relationship between you and your kids? It may duplicate and make itself look just like it does with the relationship you got with your mother. And here's the thing, Kaylee, if you ever see this, me reviewing your interview that you did with Mary, let me tell you, honey, history does oftentimes repeat itself. And if you don't want your children standing up in your face saying you lost the opportunity to parent me, you better get that together now while they still young and impressionable. Because that stuff will come out during their teenage years and shock the wig off your head. So Kaylee said that her son remains traumatized. See what I'm saying? By the interactions that he had with Mike. She said that alleged, and these are Kaylee's allegations, not mine. Do not put these on me, but I'm just repeating. She said that Mike aid her son by forcing him to perform physical exercises as punishment until he was no longer able to continue to do the punishment. And you, his biological mother, he came out of your womb and you sat there and let that man do that to your baby. You let that man make your baby do physical exercises as punishment until he just couldn't go no more. And you sat there and let this man verbally a your child. So Kaylee mentioned she in she is in therapy, but are her kids? Or do somebody need to call CPS and help her out a little bit? And by the way, don't forget in our earlier conversation, she said this little boy was autistic. He has autism. And he out there doing physical exercise to exhaustion, if what she said is true. He getting talked to any kind of way, and he's autistic. Or is this another little boy? She went on to say that he processed the situations differently and when was unable to understand many of Mike's actions. But where was you? Where was she? She said that simply mentioning Mike's name caused her son to withdraw and leave a room. And all of her children are now participating in therapy because of events that she allowed, that Kaylee allowed, that she allowed, that Kaylee allowed to occur during their relationship. She also stated that seeing Mike interact with her children after his release confirmed for her that he had not changed. So your kids was the guinea pig on whether or not he changed. I need a drink, and I don't even drink. I drink every now and then. I need a drink. She said that she sat and watched because she said she observed, which means stand and watch, sit and watch, lean back and watch. Mike forcing her autistic son outside into the Arizona heat to perform push ups beside the family swimming pool as punishment until he was physically unable. And then she went on to say that her son cried during the punishment and that Mike responded back to him saying he needed to man up. He's autistic. He may not ever function as a man. I don't know what kind of autism he has. I don't know if he's high functioning or not. But come on, Kaylee. At this point, you can't put nothing on Mike. Now, I know Mike, according to what Kaylee's saying, is the one that did it. But how you going to put the blame on Mike? Will you allow this to happen to your son? She said she agreed with the approach, saying that her son is autistic, highly sensitive, and that Mike was not his father. But according to her, those incidents reinforce her children's opposition to the relationship. And then she reiterated that once Mike was released from prison, her children remained adamantly against having him in their lives and confirmed that he never resided in a home, only visiting for brief periods, including one overnight stay. I don't care how much you wanted to get your man. He ain't need to be in there with your kids. Allegations of cheating. Katie was asked to respond to Mike's public allegation that she cheated on him and that one of her former husbands was living with her before his release from the prison, right? So Kaylee said that Mike's perception is his own and denied that his version was accurately reflected, that it accurately reflected their relationship. She disputed statements regarding Mike's mother caring for her children, stating that Mike's mother only spent limited time with her son and on occasion her youngest daughter. Kaylee further stated that based upon conversations with her son, she believes Mike's mother questioned him about Kaylee's personal life during those visits. Wonder what he came back and said. And then Katie went on to say that she found the timing of those public accusations convenient but declined to elaborate. Give us all of it, Katie. If you're going to give us some, give us all. But here's the kicker. So regarding the allegations of cheating, right? Kaylee acknowledged that her divorce from Mike had not yet been finalized when she started seeing the man who is now sitting beside her as her new husband. She denied cheating with one of her former husbands and clarified that the former husband referenced publicly only uh, referenced publicly only as court supervised visitation involving her children or their children. And she stated that the criminal charges related to that matter had ultimately been dropped and that her current husband now handles those interactions. And then she went on to say that, her and her former husband they no longer communicate directly with one another. But she did at least acknowledge that she began a new relationship before her divorce from Mike was even the ink was even dry on it. It wasn't even legally finalized. But she had already created an emotional and mental end to the marriage. What? Then she went on to say that Mike may view these events as cheating, but stated that she viewed herself as having already left the relationship emotionally. No, boo, that's cheating. No, boo, that's adultery. Yeah, boo. That what that is. You can't explain that away. If you still married and you're having a relationship, in my opinion, it's adultery. It's infidelity. I mean, am I wrong? Because you emotionally left the relationship, don't make it that you was out there cheating. I mean, let's just call a thing a thing. And so basically, according to the interview, her divorce was finalized in March after Mike initially filed in September, with Kaylee stating that the process took longer because paperwork was repeatedly completed incorrectly. Power of attorney. Now, I told y'all on the first review of this interview that I did, I put this in I put this in the format of a deposition because that's the only way I knew to do it. Okay. So now here we go. Power of attorney. So Kaylee stated that Mike's voluntarily gave her power of attorney while he was incarcerated. Notice she used the word voluntarily. So, according to Kaylee, the authority was originally held by Mike's mom, but Mike's requests became too numerous for his mom to manage them. That mean that mofo was big and all the time and always got somebody doing something for him. So she stated that Mike transferred the power of attorney to her so she could open financial accounts, obtain a secure credit card, establish banking services, and manage other financial matters right downtown on his behalf. She stated that she initially resisted accepting the responsibility, but because she believed problems would arise in the future. But Mike continued insisting until she eventually accepted. So basically, Kaylee said that the power of attorney specifically authorized her to handle like DMV matters, banking, finances, and other legal and financial transactions. Okay. And now, mind you, Mike had already said in his interview with, according to Amber, that he had already assessed, okay, her credit and all that in her debt to credit ratio, and found that she was every month overdrawn to the tune of about $700. And this is the woman that you can't make this up. This is the woman that he put as power of attorney over his accounts. I don't care if the credit card was $50. She appears, as Michael has said, to have a caffeine addiction and other issues. But he made her power of attorney. He must have been desperate. She said that while Mike accused her of abusing the power of attorney, in a connection now with this daggone BMW, but she said that every transaction that she did was completed legally through a licensed dealership. And then she went on to say if anything improper had occurred downtown to the transaction, the dealership would not have completed the transaction. That ain't always true. For some dealerships, it depends on where you're buying it from. It might not be as up and up as you think. She further went on and said that the dealership personnel contacted Mike directly by telephone during the transaction to verify his authorization and that all necessary approvals were obtained. So Kaylee disputed the fact that Michael will put out a public statement regarding the BMW only needing minor repairs, right? She said, repairs on BMWs are expensive and asserted that Mike himself had previously discussed replacing the vehicle. Now, one of the cars that I wanted when I was younger was a BMW until I got the hood price on it. Okay. Once you get the hood price on it, you realize, I don't know. I don't think so. At the time when I was trying to buy a Mercedes. I wanted a Mercedes or a BMW. When I say the hood prices, right? I was taught by the mechanics that were in my life that the hood price is how much is an oil change. Get the average cost of a now mind you, this is when I was young, buying vehicles, okay, not thinking about it because my first vehicle back in the day was a Nissan Maxima. I know daggone well I wasn't really making a salary to buy the car, but I brought the car, honey, and I didn't check the hood price. I did not check to see how much that oil change was going to cost. So instead of back in the day when I brought that first car, that oil change being about $15-$20, on that daggone Nissan Maxima, that oil change was about 120 at my salary back in the day. So I never did a hood check on it. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what BMW oil change is, but I know it ain't what my oil change is in this vehicle that I'm driving in now. I know you ain't gonna just go ahead on it. Oh, I wouldn't. Take a daggone BMW down to the Jiffy Lube. I don't do that with the car I got now. And it's in the Toyota family. I ain't taking my car. No shade to Jiffy Lube. I just ain't gonna do it. Not right now. Now, when it get a little bit older and colder, I take it down there. But nah. But she disputed that the BMW needed minor repairs and said they was high as all dickens. You daggone right they are. You daggone right they are. She said that she repeatedly asked Mike to remove the BMW from her garage because it was taking up space. So according to her, child, all she needed to do was get one of them. Y'all, what do y'all call those daggone things that's a dolly for a car? That when you park in the garage, they take and shoot that thing up underneath your car, move your car so you can stop me blocking somebody in the garage. She know nobody had one now. I'm sure y'all men know downtown in the comment section. She said after her own vehicle became unusable, right? Because she had stuff that was going on mechanical with hers and everything. She said she had a failed air conditioning system. She said she located another vehicle, right, that she wanted to purchase. And she stated that her sister assumed the payments on her previous vehicle that didn't have no air, leaving Kaylee without transportation. So according to Kaylee, she asked Mike whether she could use the BMW as a trade-in to reduce the payments on another vehicle because the BMW remained unused in her garage. She stated that Mike initially preferred selling the BMW to repay his mother, but ultimately agreed to the trade-in. He should have sold the vehicle to his mother. But Kaylee went on and said that the transaction was completely legal and that she does not believe she misused the authority granted under the power of the attorney. She further said that Mike specifically reminded her to bring the power of attorney documents because he was unable to leave the halfway house to sign paperwork himself. So Kaylee told Mary, right, during the interview that the dispute escalated after Mike's mother got involved and learned during filming that Kaylee had acquired another vehicle by trading in a BMW. And so, according to Kaylee, Mike had previously agreed to repay his mother $4,000 for the sale of the BMW, right, towards another vehicle that she had purchased for him. So Kaylee said that when Mike's mother demanded the $4,000 from her, she responded that such an agreement had been made between Mike and his mother, and not her. She had no obligation to it. I said, Kaylee be doing the most with the least bit. With the least. If y'all hear lawnmower, that's my lawn people. Financial support during incarceration. So Kaylee said that she spent a lot of money supporting Mike when he was incarcerated. But she would not agree with the public claims that the amount totaled $42,000. If it's a lie, you told it. Yeah, y'all, that's my lawn people. I ain't never getting out there and cutting all that grass by myself. He on the side of the house. Hold on, y'all. Give me a break while I put my hair up. He got to come back up, back about 3 or 4 times. So be patient with me, y'all. I'm sorry if y'all can hear. Kaylee If you are $42,000 in debt and you decided that that is a lie, you said it. Kaylee is the one that was saying she was $42,000 in debt. But she said, while she has not calculated the exact total, she said Western Union records alone reflected 2000 in 2023, 8,000, 8,800 in 2024, and 10,000 before accounting for the phone calls. Now, this was before she accounted for phone calls, cash app transfers, and other expenses. Then what's the total accounting on it? Can we get it? Do we need to get a forensic audit? What is going on, Kaylee? Y'all, he got one more. I think he got one more on this side of the house. Excuse me, y'all. I apologize. She said that the money was also used to purchase commissary food, food from other inmates when Mike was unable to access his commissary: tattoos, shoes, a watch, a tablet, phones, games, and email access. Then she went on to say that much of the money was not spent on his basic necessities, but rather on items that he wanted. So then she went on and tried to emphasize the fact that she financially supported Mike throughout his incarceration, right? But stated he never provided financial support to her, even though this mofo and his mother knew that he had $14,000 in the bank, according to them. Now, that's a dog man, in my opinion. That's a dog man right there. I don't care how you. I don't care what she was doing. That's a dog. So Kaylee went on in an interview and said she didn't become aware that Mike had accumulated that $14,000 until the dinner scene that we saw. When they was filming at the restaurant, she threw the drink and stuff all up in his face. She said that is legitimately when she found out that Mike had $14,000 in the bank and had used six of it to pay his motor vehicle stuff. She said that she already knew Mike had enough money to purchase a BMW shortly before his release because she said she had been communicating with her brother about locating the vehicle for him. So she said that discovering Mike possessed that amount of money while simultaneously requesting financial assistance from her caused her to question why she continued paying for his needs while he spent money on stuff he wanted. And so she said that, she stated in one incident involving a request, right, for $320 exposed what she believed was deception because she said Mike's mother had initially told her Mike needed $320 for some damn bed sheets. But later he requested the same amount for an entirely different purpose. Man, you talk about running games. You talk about running games. Thank you so much. Let me pull back. Mela Pelish Mela Pellas Cha Cha for the 4.99 super chat. She said, I pick no sides between trash and flies. People are going to do to you only what you allow them to. You right about that. You're right about that. Thank you, Boo, for the super chat. So now we're getting into a more serious conversation that went on. And this is about some allegation of SA. So viewer discretion is advised. So evidently some stuff been going down that your auntie just been oblivious of, because I didn't know none of this stuff. I learned it during this interview and I was like, okay, wait a minute, what? I was trying to grasp what was going on. I think I may have, I don't know. But Mary asked Kaylee about her previously disclosing an allegation, y'all, about Mike S.A. and her. And she was asked to explain the timeline and who was aware of the allegation and what production knew about the incident, right? So I'm frozen now. Cause I ain't never heard none of this. Like I'm frozen. So Katie stated that she would only discuss what she was able to discuss publicly. And then she went on to describe this incident that had occurred in September after filming. And this was after the filmer they had finished filming in August. But the incident happened in September. So y'all help me if I'm wrong. But from what I thought I heard, she said that this SA incident took place during Mike's first 24 pass from the halfway house. She said that Mike's statement, okay, how she say this? She said she disputed that Mike was subject to a 9 p.m. curfew and said that it was a full 24-hour pass. So evidently this is going on somewhere downtown to a social media. She said that when Mike arrived at her house, he drove himself there and did not arrive in an Uber. And then she said the only person transported by Uber that evening was her 16-year-old daughter. And she said that she was out like at a party because Mike was not expected to come to the house. Now, mind you, earlier she'd already said that the kids didn't want Mike at the house anymore. So then she stated that her and Mike had not confirmed any plans for him to visit. She said, because at that point she had started seeing other people. And somebody else, she had started seeing somebody else and thought that there really was no reason, right, for her to be with Mike or for Mike to come to her house. And then she said that there was a text message that existed in which she questioned why he had even came down to the house and stated there was no reason for play family because in her view, right, the relationship was already over. But I question that because Kaylee has done a lot of things without consulting Mike or really looking at the reality of the decisions and stuff that she has made and a switch up and a switch of rules that she been going through. If y'all understand what I'm saying. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. It is so freaking confusing. I'm trying to take my time to make sure I'm saying this right. So Kaylee said because she didn't expect Mike to come, she gave her daughter permission to go to the party and come back home. She said that after Mike unexpectedly showed up, the, the she said because Mike had showed up, right, and unexpectedly showed, appeared, the remaining details of this incident, y'all, allegedly are contained within some official report. But she stopped short of declining details. So she said that she does not care whether members of the public believe her allegations. But she objected to comments she believes diminishes what her children experienced. According to her, she accepts responsibility for allowing Mike back into her house, despite knowing his past behavior, and acknowledges that the decision brought him back into her children's life. However, in saying that, she stated that she rejects suggestions that the incident did not occur because, according to her, her children experienced events that should have never happened. And so she stated that basically the portion of the discussion she was having with Mary about the situation, she wanted to be accountable and hold herself responsible for, right? So Kaylee's current husband, who y'all know had been sitting over downtown to the side the whole entire time, said that he has attended therapy sessions with Kaylee and detective interviews involving this incident, I guess, in the family. So according to him, all four of the children were present at various points during this incident, and either witnessed or heard things that no child should experience. And so he went on to say, he stated that observing the children continue to process these key events in weekly therapy sessions has been emotionally difficult for him. And I'm saying, but why he in there? I thought that we had established that he not the biological father. Or is he? Because that right there had me He said that the information will eventually become public once the legal proceedings are concluded. And then he went on to say that his primary concern is not retaliation against Mike per se, right? But ensuring that the family and children remain safe, healthy, and able to move forward. Kaylee's Boothang went on to say that he witnessed Mike's behavior during this particular divorce proceeding downtown at the courthouse. And according to the boyfriend, Mike crossed the courtroom carrying some paperwork. And he slammed the documents on the counter and behaved in a manner that caused one of the people downtown at the court to intervene. And so then the boyfriend was saying that a court clerk had warned Mike that his behavior would not be tolerated. And so, according to him, a process server who was looking at the whole interaction later told Kaylee that Mike's behavior reinforced her belief that Kaylee needed to separate herself from him, and even offered to serve legal papers, I guess, without charge. He also said that several court employees monitored the situation because Mike's behavior was so out of control and disruptive. And then he was saying that when he physically stood between Mike and Kaylee, Mike avoided making eye contact with him. And he said the statements reflect the observations, right? Of these are his opinions, him and Kaylee's opinions. So Mary had brought up these text messages up on the screen. Can I be honest? I ain't know what they meant. Maybe y'all do. Y'all let me know downtown in the comment section because I did not have a clue what the fuck they meant. Like, not one clue. I was trying to read it and follow it. I couldn't follow it. But she had put these text messages up there. A lot of the information was redacted. Um, I put a name in to a search. I couldn't find anything. So evidently, this stuff is under private lock and key, and I won't be looking no more. But I thought, okay, so I mean, even this, the proceedings are still, you know what I mean. Or you gotta do a FOIA request. I don't know. I don't know where it is in the stages. So when I couldn't find it, I stopped looking for it. So anyway, Kaylee was asked about the text messages that Mike had previously provided publicly. So, according to Kaylee, these messages that Mike referenced did not relate to this September event, but instead originated from an earlier incident that had occurred in August. She stated that the dates contained within the messages support a timeline that was in August, in the August incident report, right? And then she acknowledged making jokes within some of those text exchanges and explained that she often used to use dark humor as a coping mechanism. So she would say inappropriate shit that would later come back and bite her in her. So she said that after undergoing a CT scan, she attempted to discuss this situation with Mike, but believed it did not take that he did not take responsibility for what had occurred. So Kaylee, first she was saying, as a victim, then she said, no, I'm a survivor because I'm nobody's victim, right? She said she is a survivor of child SA. And she initially did not recognize that whatever this incident that happened downtown in September was what she believed it is now. And she said that she initially questioned whether she was at fault, which a lot of women do. They question whether or not they are at fault. Hold on for a second. Women and men, okay? Hold on. Make sure I run that downtown at the bottom. Okay. She said she initially questioned herself on whether she was at fault. And she had to fight with herself on whether or not she thought that she may have deserved what had happened to her. Because she said that, she had always been battling for quite some time the issue of self worth. And she said that mostly of that stemmed from earlier childhood trauma. And she stated that she discussed the incident with her therapist. And according to her, her therapist informed her that the events she described were not normal. And her therapist helped her to recognize behaviors which she had previously minimized them. And just on a personal tip, when I was going through my DV situation, after I had did everything that I did, because I found my stuff lickety split. There were times where I questioned whether or not that I could have done something different. That my behavior caused what I went through, and I think that that's normal. So don't beat yourself up, women or men, because men go through stuff too. Go with your gut, go with your heart. And if you ultimately are wrong about it, forgive yourself and move on. Take accountability, forgive yourself and move on. But you do have a tendency as you play things back in your mind, right, to kind of try to, find yourself blaming yourself for something that has happened. And we all know that that's not necessarily true, that you are the responsible party of it. Okay? I just want to put that out there. But Kaylee said that having those conversations with her therapist caused her to begin to look at everything differently. So she also addressed, right, discussions regarding Mike's whereabouts during the 24-hour pass. And so according to Kaylee, evidence existed that demonstrated that Mike was present at her residence during that period of time. Y'all, I don't know what this is about. I don't know what this is about. Because she went on to state that communication problems occurred because of some Wi-Fi outage that affected the required monitoring equipment that he was on. And I guess because neither her nor Mike answered the phones, the halfway house was unable to contact them, and Mike was eventually classified as a missing felon. I said, God dang, how long was the daggone Wi-Fi out? And they was scared he was going to go back to prison. And then she went on to say that the incident, Mike repeatedly attempted to contact her through social media, excuse me, y'all, while she changed her phone number multiple times in an effort to end the communication. And I was like, thank you so much, baby Philly Fox, for the $4.99 super chat. If I may approach the bench with an observation, she equates marriage with self-worth. Absolutely, she does. And you know what, baby Philly Fox, she speaks to that. She halfway. Like if you looking at this like with the these are my opinions, y'all. Okay. But if you looking at this with your eyes squenched, you halfway, in my opinion, see her taking accountability. But for me, it's only with my eyes squenched that I can see it. If that makes sense. Because it's so much stuff that has happened and their relationship is so complicated, and it appears to go, it's just been a long span of incidents on top of incidents, occurrences on top of occurrences, problems over top of problems, situations over top of situations, children, husbands, like it's mamas. It's so much. It's so much stuff. Mary may have to end up doing a 5-part series to this because there's so much stuff. And between her trying to articulate what has happened to her in her life, you have the complication. I found it complicated to truly assess everything because this man was in the back talking. Young, shut the up. We'll call you when we need you. That's why the court lets one person talk at a time. There's only one person on the witness stand at a time. Stand down, young, and wait till they call you. But he in the background talking his off. And I'm like, Shorty, stand Man, damn, damn. We just want to be able to hear what the is going on. You're right, Creative Candace. Hey, sweetie. One thing that I can deduce from this is that if she told one truth, in my opinion, from part one and part two of these interviews that Mary has been doing downtown to her channel, which is Kiki and Kibitz, the truth is she has trauma. That's not a lie. That's clear. That she has a lot of emotional challenges and a lot of things she's been through in her life. Moreover, in my opinion, in my assessment, she probably has inflicted a lot on her children because whatever the situation was, the daughter wasn't supposed to be home. So what happened? It really is tragic because when we look at life after lockup, love after lockup, love during lockup, one thing that we TV has proven based on reports that we always get from Starcasm is that half of this stuff is not made up and it's worse than what we may have even thought. We've had some people from this show who have crashed out and burned and have never turned back around. Chase is back in jail. Michael is homeless. Like it's just kudos again to Mary and to Amber for getting these reviews. I mean, getting these interviews because it does bring some clarity to what is really going on. Anyway, thank you all so much for thank you all so much for being here. I truly appreciate you all sticking around. I thank you for being subscribers to Auntie's Advice and for turning your notification bells on and for going live every time I do. I truly appreciate it. But I want to make sure that show my appreciation to everybody who comes back in the replay game. Thank you. Once this video is not live, you consistently come back and you watch the review. And I can't say thank you enough for that. And you sit under the review for an hour, like I be doing other people's stuff. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I could not and would not do this without y'all. So allegedly, I believe Kiki and Kibitz has one more interview. I'll review that one because, as I said, y'all blew my DMs up and really wanted me to cover it. And so, yeah, let's see if Mike come back. Is he gonna come back? Will he come back and he wanna talk his and tell his story? Is he gonna come back y'all to Amber or is he gonna go to Kiki and Kibitz? Who y'all think he gonna come back to and try to clear up his spot? Because you know he ain't gonna let it go down that this girl done said something about him and he ain't said nothing back. Oh no, he just don't look like the type of man that would allow, allow her to get the last word. Oh no, not Michael. But we'll see, won't we? Anyway, I love y'all. I gotta go pick up my animals from daycare. But y'all be good, okay? And we'll talk soon. Turn on your notifications because tonight I think I'm gonna be doing 90 Day Fiance, but I'm so tired. I may be going to bed, but I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Bye, y'all.